back to Out of the Rough. I'm joined by my good friend John Klymshyn. John Klymshyn's an author, he's a speaker, he's a coach. Also, you're startupadvisors.com.
Yes, we are launching and we are ready to change the world with a one-stop place to go on the internet where anyone who wants to start a business and understand what that means, where they can get the information, the insight, the guidance that they need.
Love it, love it. So we're going to talk about it's a startup world.
It most certainly is. I believe that 10 years from now, more people are going to be employed or self-employed in small and startup businesses than ever before. Big corporate America is a beautiful thing, and I love it because I have squeezed a ton of fees out of big corporate America during my path as a coach and a speaker.
And done a great job at it.
And, well, thank you very much. It's very kind of you, and I appreciate that, and I'll write you a check later. But it is a startup world. People are looking to impact the world in some positive way. And what they want to do is that they want to start a business because they don't want to necessarily go get a job. It's not that it's a bad thing having a job, but it's way more exciting to build something from scratch. And we've come up with a very specific kind of litmus test for whether or not you have a startup, and it's three things. Number one, is it a brilliant idea? I don't mean a mediocre idea. I don't mean a cool idea. I don't mean you and your friend think it's great and you don't know if anyone's going to pay for it. Is it a brilliant idea? Like every time you describe it to someone, they say, oh, yeah. That's the response.
And I'd pay for it.
Well, we're going to get to that. The first one is it's a brilliant idea. Second is it is beautifully realized. We live in an app and a mobile world. We live in an immediate gratification and viral communication, social media world. Is it beautifully realized? Does it look like it is a whole new look and whole new feel and whole new experience? And if so, if it's a brilliant idea and it's beautifully realized, you have a shot to do the thing that you and I do, which is, can you sell it at a profit? Yeah. It's got to be profitable. Yeah. I've seen a bunch of startups that start, and they are very good ideas, bordering on brilliant, and because they struggle with the idea of pricing, and they struggle with the idea of asking people for money, whether it's through their app or on their site or face-to-face, they don't focus on profit. And that is the kiss of death for a startup.
I think it's really important. I want to emphasize something. And I want to emphasize it clearly. Corporate America is going to continue to make profit, but they're also not going to hire a lot of people because of the uncertainty of the future.
Exactly.
If you're unemployed, if you're underemployed, this is where you can make the biggest impact in the world.
Absolutely, and it is about what one of my idols, Ray Bradbury, said. He was 84 years old, a famous author, read all of his stuff, and I actually got to see him speak before he died. And he was asked about risk when he was 83. And what he said was, every day I jump off a cliff and build my wings on the way down. I get chills just saying that out loud. I wish I had said that phrase the first time, but I got to credit the master. And the thing is that going into business for yourself is a tremendous risk, but is it really any less of a risk than going into employment and going to work for someone else? You don't know what the relationship is going to be. You don't know if it's going to be everything that you thought it was going to be. I mean, I think back to the first jobs that I ever had as a young person, and it's described one way, kind of feels a little different once you're doing it. So the great thing about a startup is, do you have a brilliant idea? Mm-hmm. Is it beautifully realized? Can you sell it at a profit? And we live in a 24-hour internet world. I have been working with startups where their first customer, they're based in New York City, their first customers are in Japan. Mm-hmm. It's an amazing thing. I could go on and on.
Want to ask you a question that every young millennial or anyone's, can I make $1 billion at it? Because they see, Facebook and Zucker and all these people making big money. Can they do that?
I think it's possible if they do some key things, and that's why yourstartupadvisors.com was started. It is because there are gates, there are paths that they have to follow to get to the point where they can come up with this structure and this verifiable model for profit that people will invest in. So what is Your Startup Advisors about? Yourstartupadvisors.com about? It's about the language of the idea, being able to bring it to market, finding funding through VC contacts to do that, building systems and processes. Now, all of this sounds like, oh, I don't know how to do that. Well, it's not as difficult as it sounds. And if you can go to our website and get short snippets that are available 24 hours a day, and by the way, Fred Arnold is going to be supplying a lot of this material for us, leadership,
and I'm
selling.
Excited about that.
We're just going to have ridiculous fun. We're going to need like 90 hours of tape to get it all on tape. But there's this universe of lack of knowledge, okay? There is this universe of, okay, if I can be given 3 tools that I can work with for the next 7 to 9 days. Now I can go back to yourstartupadvisors.com and say, okay, I built the sales team structure. I built our HR process. Now I've got our go-to-market language. What do I do next? We are 2, 3, 7 steps ahead, and we're never moving so fast that you can't keep up with us, because it is, in the name, it says what it's all about. Your Startup Advisors. You want to take a year to build this? That's okay. You want to try to do it in 9 months? That's 6 months? That's okay. And the original question was, can people build a billion-dollar business? I'll tell you what, the fact that we can have currency exchange and accept credit cards and PayPal and all of these other ways, Apple Pay and all these things that we can use to gather income, I think it's absolutely realistic. One of the key things that I do now is that I am the growth and sales mentor at the New York Tandon Polytechnic School of Engineering in New York. There are 3 incubators there, and all I do when I go there is work with these startups. And we wrote on the wall one day, there's a billion-dollar business among us. And I wrote underneath it, who's it going to be?
Love it, love it, love it. And that, I think that brings out, real briefly, why you do what you do.
Yeah. I do it because it's fun. And some people think that I have a hell of a nerve doing something that is wicked fun and I make a very good living at, but I think that that's one of the keys to success in life. We are taught or brought up to go out, get a job, stay in that job, do the right thing, perform, and maybe retire. You and I both know that that ended with our dad's generation.
It did.
So I am much more interested in designing a life than I am in making a living. And years ago when I started my practice in 1999, when I started my practice, it was all about a couple of things. Number 1, being creative. Number 2, having freedom. And number 3, making it fun. Because if it's not fun, why do it? And I'll tell you what, Fred, I have made more money since that day and that decision than I did in the 10 years combined up until that point. And again, it's not about making the money. It's about designing the life that you want. Learn how to sell. Learn what leadership is. Take your idea, have it hammered into the ground to see if it's brilliant, and if it is, find a way to realize it in a beautiful way, and then sell it to death.
Yeah. People are afraid of that, so you show them how to do that.
Well, I live to do that,
Yeah.
because it's fun and it's about connecting with people.
Love it. Those that want to reach out to you, John.
They can reach me at john@yourstartupadvisors.com. Couldn't be simpler.
Excellent. Yourstartupadvisors.com.
That's
Ladies
right.
and gentlemen, John Klymshyn, good friend, author, speaker, entrepreneur. You got it all. Thank you very much for coming in.
Thanks, man.
We're going to jump to a quick break and we'll be right back. Welcome back to Out of the Rough. I'm joined by John Klymshyn, author, coach, yourstartupadvisors.com.
Yes,
Welcome
sir.
back to the show.
Thanks.
4 character traits of a successful salesperson. I'm going to throw out there daily disciplines.
Absolutely. Discipline is the key to me. Not the key to me, like the key to my heart. It's the key as far as I am concerned. Discipline is an amazing thing. People think that discipline is about correction. It's really about self-correction, and it is also about guiding the activities that you pursue every single day. My definition of discipline is following a regular, proven path. You and I have read volumes, encyclopedias. We've been to thousands of websites to look up what it takes to be successful. And you know what? After a certain amount of time, you're going to find a common thread. And the common thread is do the same thing regularly and consistently over time, and it will add up to success for
I'm
you.
going to throw something out there on this, and that is your daily disciplines that are dollar-producing activities.
Yes.
Because a lot of times we get caught up in email, we get caught up in this and that. What are your dollar-producing activities? What drives revenue? What drives sales? What drives relationships? What drives connections?
Live conversation. We definitely live in an email and texting and LinkedIn connection world. I absolutely appreciate that, and I subscribe to it. See if I can get it out without biting my own tongue off. I subscribe to that. However, true sales conversations will be moved forward with a live conversation.
And I'm going to laugh a little bit because the millennials sometimes thinks that texting is a live conversation.
I say to my kids, have you spoken to your mother today? And they say, yeah. I say, great. What'd you talk about? Well, I texted her. That's not what I asked you.
Curiosity, number 2, curiosity and drive.
Curiosity and drive, I think that they're tied together because one of the things that I have found, and you and I have talked about this a bunch of times, is I'm fascinated with what the next business is. I'm fascinated with the businesses that I've worked with before. What are they doing now? How are they attracting more customers? How are they serving those customers? You have to have this innate curiosity, and what that does is it builds this fire, this passion within you to go out and create those live conversations. Can you start them with an email? Absolutely. Can you start them with a LinkedIn connection?
Yes.
Absolutely. But you got to be able to say, how you doing? What's going on in your life? What are you looking to see happen? And this live conversation is the highest activity that the brain engages in every single day, and that sharpens us for all of the other things that we have to do in the selling day.
And the amount of learning we do is incredible.
Yes.
Checking ego at the door, that is absolutely critical because it leads to asking for help.
Asking for help is one of the most human things that we can do.
And humble.
And it's about humility because interesting that both of them have the same root word, right? Whatever the Latin is, it's H-U-M, right? Humility, humble, asking for help, being part of something where you will realize that you are not the be-all, know-all, end-all. And I have yet to come across anyone in virtually any culture, and you know I've traveled the world, when you ask someone for help eye to eye, they feel compelled to help you because it makes them feel good.
Yep, it helps give them the goodies, it helps give them purpose, it helps give them that little extra. I love that. Last but not least, resilience. Because you know what? You're going to get hit in the jaw every once in a while, you're going to get pushed over every once in a while. Was it Zig Ziglar? One of the professionals said, fail forward?
Fail forward, exactly right. If you're going to trip, at least land on your face so you can use both palms to push yourself back up, right?
Or flip around quickly.
That's exactly right. Well, who's it? Dwayne Wade that had the Nike commercial, fall down 8 times, get up 9, right? Sales is the only profession in the world where every single day we get up and we ask the world to kick us in the teeth. It's kind of psychotic. There's a little bit of, what I call it deeply rooted psychological problems, but I'm out there with that, and I guess that's helped me get to where I am today, wherever that might be.
Yeah, fail forward.
Yes,
John,
sir.
Those that want to reach out to you, how can they get a hold of you?
I want them to call me on the telephone. I want them to dial my phone number.
And you'll actually answer most of the
I
time,
will answer
unless
the
you're
phone.
with a client.
If not, I'll get back to them within 90 minutes guaranteed. 424-268-7757. Write it down and memorize it.
Got it.
That's how you get Coach K.
Yeah, world traveler, great father, great husband, great community leader, author, speaker, coach, yourstartupadvisors.com. Thanks for coming to the show.
My pleasure, man. As always.
Yep, absolutely. I hope you enjoyed this edition of Out of the Rough. If you'd like to watch this online, go to scvtv.com or fredarnold.com. If you want to suggest a guest, email me, fred@fredarnold.com. Until we speak again, make it a great day. Take care. Bye-bye.